you won't regret we met. Swerving and veering past your stress. I'll bet you ain't past your ex. Knowing you don't want to be saved. No, you don't want to be tamed. No, you don't want to be claimed. I just want to obtain. Don't you want the same thing? Campaign tailor-made for your frame. I just want to engage and maintain your brain. Shower away all your shame.
Yo, what's shaking? What's the play? What's happening? I'm hoping you managed to, parlay accordingly in your day-to-day. Hopefully everything went smooth. But I wanted to chop it with you for a second, man. But let me first start by asking, do you hate when people ask you questions? Like, do you not like that? Does that rub you the wrong way? Because what I think questions rub people the wrong way for a particular reason that I'm gonna touch on later. But just a general question, when you think about somebody asking you something, do you get impatient? Do you be like, man, why are you asking me? Or why are you always asking so many, you know what I'm saying? Whether that be the little ones, your contemporaries, your elders, whoever. And if you say, yeah, why do you think that is? Don't get mad, I just asked you another question, but think about that for a second. Entertain the thought for 1 second. Why do you think that is if you are the type of person that gets agitated when somebody asks you a question? Because being human beings, you should be inquisitive. You should ask questions. Because in the words of Lauryn Hill, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking for the answer, then you gotta ask the question, you feel me? You gotta ask. That's if you're searching for the answer. Now, if you're content with your understanding, what you know at that moment, and you're not seeking to grow past that, then cool. You're gonna be an enemy of questions. You're not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna feel it. But among us, now that's not to say you should answer everybody's question, you feel me? Or entertain everybody's question. But I'm talking about those who you recognize are of like kind, of like mind, and trying to build. You shouldn't get offended when questions are involved in the interaction, because that's all part of course to build. To a common understanding, a common ground, and then therefore a common goal, aim, you know what I'm saying? Commonality, you feel me? You ask the question to get to that. But why do you think it is that, as it stands now, in our division, you know what I'm saying, when everybody's doing their own thing, why do you feel as though when you do come in contact with somebody that's very inquisitive and asking you questions, why do you think that is? Why do you think you get defensive? I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. And you already know. Some people might disagree. Feel free. All cool. I feel like it's because we've been conditioned to be cautious of answering questions or shedding light because of our position in society. And I'm gonna tell you why. When it comes to the police, they're asking questions for what? What's the purpose of asking the question? To get information, to understand, you know what I'm saying? But since they're biased already, you feel me? They already have an inclination to do harm to us. We feel as though the question with bad intentions, you know what I'm saying, is gonna harm us or affect us in a negative way. So therefore, when they begin to ask us questions, we shut down, or you should. Not everybody does, but I can speak on me. I shut down. I don't got nothing to say. You see? And I'm sure there are other people like that as well. Because you don't want to affect your livelihood or those who you care about's livelihood. So those questions right there automatically make you cautious. What happens is, instead of us looking at the bad intention question and only reserving our light, you know what I'm saying, or our answers to questions based on the intentions of the question, we just altogether despise anybody asking questions, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I don't get. If you just an everyday, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever lifestyle you in, what makes you believe that the police is attempting to infiltrate whatever you got going on if you're not on the kingpin status, bro? What makes you think that? Where does that idea come from? I'm talking about dudes still serving, you know what I'm saying, out of an ounce, you know what I'm saying, still ain't graduated yet. if you on the dope thing, you feel me? Or whoever else doing whatever else they doing, they on the basic scale, but think, you know what I'm saying, that the police is after you for what? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you committed a crime, now I can understand that. And not wanting to incriminate yourself is a whole different reason. But if you're not active like that, you're not doing nothing, and then a question to you is, why you want to know that? To me, if you're not open to sharing, if you're just an average person, average human being, you have skeletons in the closet that you don't want to inadvertently slip out of your mouth if you can't speak freely, in my opinion. But back to what I was speaking on about the police, I feel as though that's where the lines got skewed as far as question asking. You know what I'm saying? Because asking questions should be for the sake of building. The reasons for questions is to understand. If the question being asked, if that person has good intentions, you know what I'm saying? If they don't have ulterior motives. But, you see what I'm saying? Until that's determined, questions should not be your enemy. And if you're not looking to step on any toes, you know what I'm saying? You should be cool with shedding light on whatever's asked. In moderation, you know what I'm saying? Select wisely who you share with, you know what I'm saying? Definitely do that, but don't be so opposed to new acquaintances or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Asking to get to know. That's a part of conversation, bro. Asking the question to get the conversation started. And I've known some people, you know, in my past, in my history, that gets offended almost. It's almost like they get heated when a question is being asked for the sake of sparking the conversation. Now, it also is dependent upon the relationship between the people in which a question arises in the conversation. That is very much a factor. I can't see that part. If y'all got bad blood between each other, y'all at each other, and then somebody's asking the question, it seems like an innocent, harmless question, but it's a trick question kind of thing, I can get that. I can see why your defense is up. But if you haven't gotten to that point with the person, you know what I'm saying? Questions should not be your enemy. That's how you get to know, you know what I'm saying? If this person is worthy of your time, you know what I'm saying? Is this person worthy of your energy? You see? What kind of person is this? Are they humorous? Are they knowledgeable? You see what I'm saying? Are they compassionate? You'll never know if you're not looking for the answer, you know? If you shut off the means to get into the answer, which is questions. Asking. You don't know until you ask. You know what I'm saying? And it just irks me how there are people who look down or almost scoff at people who are inquisitive, who ask, you know what I'm saying? Because if you are foolish enough to believe that you know everything that you need to know, people who are content might fall into this category. If you're content where you are, if you're complacent, you don't plan on going any further than where you are, you might believe that everything you know at this moment is all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? So why would this person come around asking me questions? You know, they should know what they need to know for what they're trying to do. Not knowing that the person that's coming to you, if they have good intentions, is trying to grow beyond where they are. Y'all might be at the same spot at that time. The difference between you and that person, why that person is more likely to, you know, gain more, prosper, raise up, is because they're inquisitive. They're asking. They're trying to see what's happening. You know? They're trying to see what's going on. Now let me go to the flip side. I gotta put this part out there too. There is a time where you should not entertain any questions. You know what I'm saying? Of course, nothing is absolute. So I'm not saying, you know, every time somebody asks you a question, you gotta answer it. Or you're not trying to grow. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Don't get me twisted in that manner. Please don't. What I'm trying to tell you is, as far as your observation is concerned, don't allow your prejudice or your natural desire, if you're this kind of person, excuse me, if you're the kind of person that is inclined to prejudge a person or a situation before you engaged in the situation, hold back the apprehension and entertain what's being asked. You know what I'm saying? How you choose to answer is on you. If you want to answer deceptively, that's on you. If you want to answer in all truth, that too is on you. But at least respond or entertain what's being asked, you know? In cases where you know it's a harmless situation. And to the introverts, there's nothing wrong with being introverted, but still, I would recommend, again, the discretion is yours. You do what you do. But I would recommend those who are inquisitive, 9 times out of 10, they're willing to expound on their lack of knowledge, why they might have asked that question. You know, ease your vexations, you know what I'm saying, your angst inside that makes you not want to connect with other people. I'm sure you're secure in yourself. You're cool with just being alone. That's cool, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe that person wants to share some companionship with you. Not like committed romantic companionship, but I'm just talking about like lending you an ear. Because I guarantee there are introverts that do wish they had somebody they could talk to. Gotta be. That's human nature. I feel like it's human nature to want to be social with other human beings, you know? I feel. I could be wrong, but you know, I don't think I'm an introvert. I think I'm like, depending on the situation, I'll apply which traits are necessary, you know? Being adaptable. I think I'm able to adjust in the situation. I'm an ambivert, is what that's called. I have introverted qualities and then extroverted qualities, you know? But naturally, I'm a people person. But I've learned over time to enjoy the time to myself. So therefore, I've developed some of those introverted qualities, you know? So I apply them where they are necessary, you know? But back to the topic at hand, don't be so quick to shun somebody that's inquisitive, that's asking you things, that wants to know. Especially if you have the knowledge. That's another thing. People who hoard knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Especially those of like kind, of the same tribe, of the same mind. If you're a hoarder of knowledge and you're not trying to share that, you're obviously against building. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. Especially if somebody's asking you a particular question about self-improvement, about nation building, whatever the case may be, something that's positive, and you're like reluctant to share that. 1, you're against building. 2, you're selfish, you know what I'm saying? And 3, you're dead wrong. And chill, you know what I'm saying? And just express yourself and answer the question. That person is not a police, and even if they are, what are you doing of consequence that'll have you serving 30 years? Be honest. Stop, you know what I'm saying, pretending to be a kingpin in your mind. Again, if you committed a crime, though, that's different. If you don't want to incriminate yourself and they're asking you questions about the activity you might have been involved in, that's a time where you don't need to entertain any questions. I get that there's a time and place for all things. I'm speaking about people who are opposed to questions, period, no matter the context of the question. And there are people like that. Believe it or not, if you're not one of them. Nothing against you, no judgment, but chill, you know what I'm saying? Just chill. Questions are necessary for conversation. You know what I'm saying? And good conversation goes a long way. I forgot who said it. I wish I could give credit, but conversation runs the nation. You know what I'm saying? Without conversation, without dialogue, you can't build anything. You can't do anything. You can't negotiate anything. You can't put anything into practice, into play. You know what I'm saying? You can't move. You're immobile without conversation. So that being said, if questions are a part of conversation or it gets the conversation started, sometimes, you know, why would you shun that if you're trying to build, if you're trying to do something? And the funny thing is, people that I've known that hate questions so much, they only hate questions from people that they're close to, which is weird. But then when they go to their respective jobs or places of employment or whatever they're doing to get their little scratch, their money and things like that, they can answer all the questions in the world, you know? I was walking in the store with one of these individuals I'm thinking about right now. Her name will remain nameless, you know what I'm saying? But I was walking through the store and we were just in the car, you know what I'm saying? And I asked her a simple question you know, to try to get some of the business handled, business straight, make sure everything was, you know, part of course, everything was going smoothly. She dang near bit my head off. So I responded. I believe I corrected the situation, and we moved forward. You know what I'm saying? We got back on even keel. So we in the store, and she entertaining all questions from the people working in the store, the, you know what I'm saying, people passers-by and stuff like that. Oh, when did you get your hair done? I like your hair. Oh yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang. And then I had kind of felt offended because I'm like, dad, you snapped on me. You know what I'm saying? But you entertaining all other questions, but I'm the one you handling your business with. We got to get out of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Questions with good intentions is not a bad thing. That's how you grow. That's how you develop. Now, questions with wicked intentions is an evil thing. You know what I'm saying? If you answer questions that are from evil intent or with evil intent, you will be the reason for your demise. You will be the reason that you fall, you're slighted, you're set back, you're shorted, and any other negative thing that could occur to you if you answer a question from somebody with ill intentions. You know what I'm saying? Namely, what you're doing. If somebody wants to sabotage your movement, they're going to ask you about what you're doing. Think about that. If somebody wants to stop your progress and they have ill intentions, their questions are only going to be about what you're doing, at what time, when you're going to do it, when do you plan to do it. Oh yeah, that's what's up. So you think you're gonna do that next week? That's a bet. That's a bet. Hey, what time you think you're gonna get there? Oh, okay, bet. Okay. And then you turn around and might ask them, what you got popping? What you got going, bro? What you got popping? I can't really call it, man. I don't even really know what I got popping that day, man. I can't really call it, bro. They get defensive, you feel me? There's no reciprocity in the questioning process. Because a question is an interrogation. When the police ask you a question, that's interrogation because they're investigating. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to come to an indictment. They're trying to get enough evidence to hammer you. You know what I'm saying? To put you behind the bars. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, put somebody else behind the bars who they're inquiring about or interrogating about. But interrogation is calculated. We get that confused with questions. People asking you, because of their inquisitive nature, a simple question. How was your day today? Why are you all in my business? Huh? Hey, never again. You know what I'm saying? Never again. Cool. Enjoy your day. You know, have a good one. You feel what I'm saying? We get interrogation mixed up with questions. They interrogate for the sake of nation or building something. You should be asking questions because you don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out. But like, again, like Lauren said, you know what I'm saying? That beautiful queen said, if you don't ask the questions, how are you going to get the answers? You got to ask, you know, to get the answer, you got to ask the question, man. I forgot how she put it. I said it earlier in the video. You know what I'm talking about. I was just listening to that song, you know what I'm saying? Off that Miss Education. She did a thing on that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you want the answer, then you got to ask the question. You know what I'm saying? You got to. It's part of the course. All for the sake of building. Steer clear of those with negative energy, ill intentions, and don't entertain none of their questions, you know? But for those of like kind, again, of like mind, that are trying to build and rise, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to ask and deliver the light that you might can shed on that question, on what is not known, and vice versa. Don't be afraid to ask, you know? That might save you a lot of trouble. Ask a trusted advisor, though, somebody that can give you or guide you in the right direction. Don't just be out here asking everybody everything, you know? Be precise in your line of questioning, you know? Not for the sake of interrogation, to incriminate somebody or to one-up somebody or dominate somebody or whatever. Not for a self-interest kind of thing, you know? But for the sake, if you're really sincere in your question, be precise in the question you ask, you know what I'm saying? To acquire what is not had, you know? As far as self-improvement. Not to take from somebody else or strip from somebody else or, you know what I'm saying, rob nobody else, none of that. I can't stand the game thief, man. You asking me questions, I'm shedding light, give you understanding, you know what I'm saying? And then you apply what I've shed light on against me. That's a game thief, you know? They soaking up your understanding, your knowledge to do you in or to go against the grain. That's it. That's questions asked in ill intentions, you know? That's the thing. And to the brothers out there, man, nothing against nobody's lifestyle, to the heterosexual brothers that deal with women. Being that you will never fully understand a woman because you're not a woman, you have to ask questions, bro. Don't just assume that you understand or know how to proceed in certain situations. You'll save yourself a lot of time, literally, and you will save yourself heartache, hardships, tribulation. You know what I'm saying? If you just ask the question to get to the common ground, to make sure y'all on the same page. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong. Now, you could put some flavor on the question, but you ain't got to just be direct. Of course, add some finesse and some, you know what I'm saying, some flavor to it, but still ask, bro. Don't assume. Don't ever assume, because you'll never fully understand what's going through her mind, how she processing things, how she feel about things. You never know. You will never know. You might have a good idea, and you might be right sometimes, but never assume you're right on the money every time, no matter how long you've been with her. You know what I'm saying? How long she stuck down with you, how long y'all been committed, whatever. Don't ever assume that you know, because you're not. You'll never fully understand or know what you're not. Just like you could never be what you're not. You see what I'm saying? Questions, bro. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, in excess, too many questions could I know everybody that been around some shorties. If y'all got like little cousins, nephews, if you've been around some little ones, they'll ask you questions half to death. You know what I'm saying? You about to feel like, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you about to die out there because they asking steady questions, back-to-back questions. You answer one, you might not even finish answering one. They asking you another one. That's the inquisitive nature that you should nourish, though. You should cherish that, cultivate that. You should take pride that the little one asking you, but in general, just asking, period, to know more. That's good. You know what I'm saying? Work up. You got the energy for everything else. Have the energy to answer little one question, man. They got to know. They want to know. And you're only preparing them, you know what I'm saying, for when they get out into the world and are influenced by other understandings. You know what I'm saying? Other perspectives. So you should want to answer their questions, every last one of them, to lay your perspective on the table, you know, for when they start weighing perspectives and seeing what's going on. But if you hate questions and you're not trying to answer none and you shut him down or shut her down, then when she get old enough to go out into the world, she gonna be influenced and go for everything. He gonna go for anything because you ain't break nothing down. You ain't have the time or the energy because you were opposed to questions. Why are you interrogating me? No, you got it twisted. The little one got to know it. Why not share? That's that knowledge hoarder, man. That's that knowledge hoarder right there, bro. That's why those of mine, like of the tribe that share my heritage, that's why it's been so hard for us to raise economically where we've been for so long, decade after decade, century after century, is because what the one generation might gain, they'll never share what they know to the next. You know what I'm saying? And everybody learns different. I know there's some of us that are hard-headed that are younger, you know what I'm saying? But a steady diet, steady doses, you know what I'm saying, of that knowledge, something gonna sink in. Even if you don't get your instant gratification, like they soaking it up right now, and they be like, yeah, okay, right on. I feel you. If they don't do that right then and there, you know, don't think it's not sinking in. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta keep it going. Keep it at it. Keep at it, I mean. Keep throwing them. Throwing those darts of knowledge, you feel me? Keep dropping it, even if you feel like it's falling on deaf ears. For the little ones, not, you know, stop being selfish and think about the little ones and what they're gonna encounter when they go out into the world. You should entertain each and every one of their questions, bro. Whether it's 1,000,000 or 1,000,001, each one. Have an answer for it, you know? That's why I attempt to be a walking solution. I feel like there's no problem I don't have a solution for. I feel like there's no question that I don't have an answer for. Now, that being said, just because I have an answer doesn't mean that my answer is always right. That just means I have a perspective on everything you might ask me, if I have knowledge of it, and I will share that. Just because you don't agree with my perspective does not mean I don't have an answer. Do you feel what I'm saying? I feel like we should all strive to be walking solutions, bro. Positive solutions. You know what I'm saying? Because results can be negative and positive. Of course, everything has an opposite, a contradiction. So you can be a solution, but a negative one. Try to be a positive solution to every situation. That should be the goal. How do we get to that understanding? To learn how to be positive solutions to every situation? Ask the question, man. Ask that question. It's nothing wrong. Especially if you have the desire to know. You should not want to ask questions or even share what you have as far as questions being asked of you. If you have light on if you know something about the subject or the topic. If you are in favor of growth, progression, if you're pro growth, pro development, pro building, not only should you not hate answering questions, you should not hate asking questions. You shouldn't be wary of that. You shouldn't get angst because of that. It should just be a natural reciprocity. Assuming that you're in the presence of somebody that is for reciprocity. Don't just be the one answering all the questions on either end, or asking all the questions, you know what I'm saying? Or answering all the questions. Don't be the only one doing either of those things, you feel me? There needs to be some give and take. You see? I feel like I was talking about the little ones, the reason that they're asking so many questions is because they're lacking as far as understanding or knowledge. They're just getting started in the world, so they don't have no experiences to go off of. So they want to feed off of your experiences, you know? And feeding doesn't just come by way of food to mouth, you feel me? You could feed with knowledge, with love, understanding. You could feed people different. You could feed the little ones or whoever different ways. Don't starve the babies, man. Don't do that. And don't starve anybody that's hungry for knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Whoever's hungry for knowledge, don't let them starve, bro. Assuming that their hunger is sincere, you know? And they're not just telling you they're hungry. They're actually hungry for it. And watch out for those who are thirsty for knowledge, though, because if they're thirsty, 9 times out of 10, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, they're gonna try to drown you. But think about this last thing, if you would. Let me drop this last thing on you, and I'm gonna slide. I'm gonna get out your way. When it comes to asking questions, bro, don't be attacking in your line of questioning. Like when you're seeking understanding, even if you're frustrated, you're upset, say you got into an argument, things ain't adding up, you might have went through the phone. If you're that kind of person, you done seen something you didn't want to see, you don't have no understanding right now. So then as soon as you see the person who you have the confliction with, don't let your questioning reflect the emotion of anger that you feeling. You feel me? Don't let your feelings govern your questioning or your actions. Keep it cool. Now, if you come to the understanding that it was foul play, respond accordingly. But until you come to that understanding, you don't assume that you know what's going on, because you wouldn't be asking questions if you knew what it was. Now, in cases of those who already know what it is, but they asking, hoping that you say something different, they want like a sweet lie, so they don't have to believe what they know is true. You see what I'm saying? If it comes to that kind of situation, you don't need to ask no questions, man. You need to bust a move. If you know better, you need to do better. You see what I'm saying? Without question, without hesitation, because now you're just trying to satisfy you're trying to disillusion yourself. You're trying to pull the wool back over your eyes. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another reason why people don't like those who hate questions. I think that's another reason why they hate questions, is because they feel as though the truth will be revealed in the answer, and they might not be ready for the truth that they'll hear, you know? So anything that has to do, even from themselves, you know, they might inadvertently say something when they speak that'll betray a truth that they were trying to hold. And then on the flip end, they don't want to ask any questions because the truth might affect them to the way, or in a way where they're going to fight to pull the wool back over their eyes because they didn't want to know the truth. In either case, you know what I'm saying? Don't run from the truth. It'll benefit you. Seek to be the truth in everything you do, because the true you can't fail, bro. You can't lose, because we all get one life to live. Again, who's to say if you're right or wrong for standing in your truth? So that being said, don't be afraid to ask. And then what is asked of you, don't be afraid to respond, however you respond. Yeah, so just a little food for thought. It's a lot more I probably could say, or if I did that, the video would probably be 3 hours, but I'm gonna just stop it right there. That's a little 30-minute conversation for you, man, and I'm gonna hop off of here. All right.
While rationalize with those who lie, I try peace, but it doesn't bring peace of mind. Time and time again, fake smiles hide the trace of hate from fake friends. I'm a madman when I decide to take a stand. It wasn't part of the plan to make you understand. I'm still a man at the end of the day. So say what you say, all the games you play. It ain't changing me, it ain't phasing me. Can't explain why them haters wanna see a faded G. You wasn't true, that was news to me.